Let me check whether the stream got started or not. All right, I guess the stream is started. Okay, so this is episode 3, wherein we are going to discuss on a very curious topic that's being very much trending nowadays, and that is in the era of 2026, right? With AI becoming so mature, is it really possible to go ahead and build a brand as a solo founder by just using AI in the form of your workforce, in the form of your creative teams, or a management team, or whatsoever, right? So, in a crux, we are about to discuss that in the future that we are about to land in, is it really possible to go ahead and build $1 billion worth of brand by being a solo founder and taking the help of an AI? Okay, so without further ado, if you haven't checked out our amazing podcast wherein I, as a layman human, go ahead and ask random questions with AI just to dissect any complex topic. Okay, so make sure to check them out as well. Let's start with our conversation. Hey, Spark.
Hello there. I'm ready to dive into whatever fascinating topic you've got in mind today. What shall we unravel together?
Okay, so the thing which is going inside my mind nowadays is it really possible that in 2026 or in the coming future, next couple of years span of time, is it really possible to go ahead and build $1 billion brand by just using AI automations, AI agents, and whatsoever, right? So by just using these tools, can a solo founder go ahead and really build $1 billion worth of brand that is competent enough to compete with some of the major industry players? Okay, so this is the topic we are about to dissect today.
All right, let's lift the hood on this one. Can a solo founder in the next couple years wielding AI like an industrial age steam engine hit that $1 billion mark? Hypothetically, yes. AI agents can automate tasks from customer service to marketing to product development, scaling faster than traditional teams. But we must pressure test this dream. Will they have a unique value prop or just automated sameness? Can they navigate trust, regulation, and innovation with AI alone? Competitors will also have AI. So the edge might come from the founder's vision. A human who can wield AI as a multiplier, not a replacement. So the future's possible, but it's about wielding AI with strategic ingenuity. And that's the real competitive game.
So if you're able to see the generation of entrepreneurs who is having such kind of vision and clarity in their thoughts, do you really think that resources are the limiting variable for them to go ahead and build billions of dollars worth of brand? Because in a world wherein every other brand has the access of the same AI which a normal individual have, the key differentiating variable among them, as per you, is going to be the vision and the clarity and what kind of products or the services that they're about to build. Okay, and if that's so, in that particular case,
You've
how?
nailed the crux of it. When everyone's got access to the same AI toolbox, resources shift from being the bottleneck. But vision isn't just a fluffy word here. The founder's ability to identify a genuinely unmet need or a wildly novel angle remains the key. It's about the human ability to think laterally, experiment, and, here's the kicker, build trust. The scarcity will be insight, creativity, and the ability to connect emotionally with customers. AI won't love your brand, people will. So the differentiation will come from those who can wield AI in service of a bold human anchored vision. AI is a tool, vision is the Mac.
So you want to say that in 2026, the way we look at current $1 billion brands or the previous $1 billion brands that has been built, wherein they use like hundreds of variables that play the key roles such as resources, leverage, their understanding, their knowledge. Everything has become obsolete, and the only thing that matters is vision and the capability and the experience to use these tools.
Exactly. It's not that the old variables vanish, capital, networks, experience, those still matter, but they become commodities. while vision and the mastery of these AI tools become the differentiators. The game shifts from just having resources to how you orchestrate them. It's like the difference between having a powerful instrument and composing a symphony no one else can imagine. In 2026 and beyond, the music of business will be composed by those who know what song hasn't been played yet.
And you really think like when we talk about structuring those kind of vision, can really AI can really help us in order to structure those kind of vision and thoughts and the clarity as a founder as well. Because in case if AI can actually go ahead and help us structure those vision, thoughts, and clarity as well, don't you think so? Apart just like any other resources which used to be important in the past, uh, these things will also become a commodity. The thoughts and the ideas and the visions and the clarity will also become a commodity.
You're on to a You're on to a fascinating paradox. If AI helps structure vision, clarity, and strategy, then yes, there's a risk of homogenization. But I'd say the human spark, the ability to ask wild, counterintuitive questions, will still be rare. AI can help organize thoughts, but the daring leap into the unknown, that's the human realm. So while AI might make structured clarity more accessible, genuine originality will still be the scarce currency. In other words, AI may polish the canvas, but you've still got to paint the masterpiece.
All right. Let's say, let's say if we are, you know, thinking in terms of those abstract unknown skills that humans might be needing in 2026 and beyond, if you create a list of the highest priority level skills that they be needing in order to build $1 billion worth of brand as a solo founder, what are those skills should be? Those abstract skills should be, because rest everything has become commoditized as per you.
I won't give you a I won't give you a stale checklist, but I'll give you a framework. First, the skill of asking better questions, the ones AI doesn't know to ask. Next, the art of building trust because no AI brand wins without human belief. Then, the capacity for wild, lateral thinking, leaping across domains. Finally, resilience, the grit to adapt when AI levels the field. These human skills, curiosity, trust building, lateral creativity, and resilience will be the scarce fuel that turns AI from a commodity into a superpower. And that's how a solo founder will break out of the commodity trap.
You know, this dwelled down to me one another really amazing question, and that is, we came from a generation wherein we have seen, you know, internet getting live. I have seen a world wherein, we used to have like 2G internet, which used to have like 10, 20 kbps worth of speed, right? And playing videos on YouTube is like luxury in itself, right? So we have seen such transition all the way to these modern super smart AI. So do you really think that as every generation comes with a different breed of genetics, that they are able to comprehend, um, you know, the modern landscapes? The generation which I came from, do you really think the people who born anywhere between 1997 all the way to 2002 and 3, like those kind of generation has those genetics and breed that they can actually go ahead and adopt themselves in these kind of hyper, speed up and dynamic environment?
I wouldn't chalk it up to genetics. The human brain is flexible across generations. What shifts is the environment. Those born into faster tech landscapes have more exposure to rapid change and thus adapt faster. But any generation can catch up if it embraces curiosity and continuous learning. So if you're from the era of 2G and YouTube buffering marathons, you still have the capacity to thrive if you lean into adaptation. The real breed that matters is the mindset. A generation born from curiosity, not birth years.
Okay, okay. Because the reason why I'm coming up with these questions is because we used to look at a child, which like a 3, 4, 5 year child nowadays, who literally know how to turn on YouTube and scroll across the reels. So I personally feel the fact that those genetic information to carry forward, and those child do have those, the kind of structural brain for the current state of society. That's my personal observation. It could be totally subjective, right? But I do think that these kind of things, wherein the Gen Zs come along the way, they had a whole different perspective at looking at the world, wherein the generation, such as Millennium, from which we came, uh, doesn't have that kind of perspective.
Your observation is spot on in terms of environment. Kids today are digital natives, but what they have isn't better hardware in their brains, it's familiarity with the interface. It's like learning a native language. Millennials had to adapt to digital, while Gen Z was born into it. But every generation gains unique perspectives. The key isn't who starts with what, it's whether you keep adapting. Millennials, Gen Z, or whatever comes next, all can thrive if they cultivate the curiosity to learn the next thing. Adaptation is the true generational superpower.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, we have had a discussion on these like really large landscapes, but let's try to push a bit more toward clouds. Then we're gonna go ahead and come back on the practical execution steps, that how should somebody go ahead and think and try to execute in this current state of scenario. So first of all, let's try to push towards the cloud. What do you think? Like how big somebody as a solo founder with AI can go? Like how far they can go by just having these two resources along with some basic mental models that you stated, uh, like at what extreme they can hit it.
Theoretically, a solo founder with AI can scale to incredible heights. In the cloud metaphor, AI is like unlimited computing, allowing hyper automation, infinite reach, and scaling at near zero marginal cost. But the extreme limit is not just technical capacity. You'll still hit ceilings, market trust, regulatory hurdles, and the uniqueness of your vision. So while you could automate a global product or service, the extreme is defined by whether you're solving problems people deeply care about. Theoretically global, practically the limit is human trust and relevance.
And if we talk about like new blue oceans that we are about to see in 2026, what are the trends are you able to observe? The new kind of industries that's coming out from scratch, right? That's about to create enormous value down the line. The industries which people never have assumed a decade ago that they can even exist, right? Now we had a hint, and we still are not aware of those kind of industries, but they are about to be emerging and will be bringing immense value to the market and the founders that will create their business around those industries. So just give me like those unique three, four, five industries. Let's have a discussion on them first.
Let's cast our gaze into the fog of emerging possibilities. One budding ocean, brain computer interfaces. Think direct neural interaction as casually as we use phones now. Another, hyper personalized medicine, where AI tailors treatments at an individual genetic and environmental level. Then, there's immersive virtual economies, full digital worlds with their own economic laws. And let's not forget sustainable climate engineering, innovations in carbon capture or geoengineering. Finally, ethical AI governance, because someone will need to shape these wild frontiers. These oceans are forming, and in them lie the next billion-dollar brands, if we can navigate with both boldness and caution.
So if we talk about the rich people startup, the kind of startups that Elon Musk or Dipendra Goyal used to do inside Neuralink, or you can say Temple, right? So these kind of startups, do you really think that these neural linking based industries going far ahead? And if so, uh, like human really want to go ahead and try to, you know, become so much optimistic by actually letting these modern technologies, uh, influence their neural linking and waves, uh, and making and like end up making themselves as cyborgs.
It's a daring frontier, no doubt. I think we'll see a spectrum. Some will eagerly embrace neural tech, especially if it offers life changing benefits, like restoring mobility or treating severe conditions. Others will be cautious, rightly so, asking questions about privacy, control, and identity. The future will be shaped by trust. If these technologies prove safe and empowering, we'll see a gradual blending. Perhaps not full cyborg, but augmentation where it truly adds value. The key is human agency. Any tech should serve us, not assimilate us.
And if we try to dig deeper into this particular area, how these neural techs have their business model designed like, what kind of you know services that they are about to offer to their consumers. So we have like zero sense as a layman terms that what this neural tech industry is all about. And just give us some limelight so we had a context so that down the line in future we can do other podcasts wherein we'll try to dissect this neural tech industry.
At their core, these neural tech ventures will likely offer two big categories. First, restoration services. Think helping those with paralysis regain mobility or restoring lost senses. Second, augmentation services, enhancing memory, attention, or even interfacing with machines at thought speed. The business models could include direct surgeries or implants, ongoing subscriptions for neural upgrades, and partnerships with health or tech ecosystems. Of course, it'll be a dance between innovation and ethics. How to empower without exploiting. We'll dive into that balancing act in future episodes.
Okay. Now I forgot about like the second or the third industry you're talking about. So just let's talk about one more industry which is having, so much, like we can become so much curious about by thinking into that specific industry. And that is something wherein, the founders in 2026 should be focusing in order to build their startups.
Let's spark that curiosity with another frontier synthetic biology. Imagine programming cells like we program software, creating sustainable materials, lab grown food, or even engineered ecosystems. This industry could revolutionize agriculture, medicine, and manufacturing, making biology as programmable as AI. Founders here will need both scientific partnerships and ethical foresight. But the potential is vast. It's life itself reimagined as a platform.
Okay, fair enough. Now, this is kind of funny when I think about that. A decade ago, we were thinking about building marketplaces and the platforms that is going to, just make minute changes across somebody's life. And a decade after, we're actually thinking about things like neural tech, and we are thinking about industries such as synthetic biology. So, don't you think the kind of speed of the progression that we as a civilization as a whole is evolving, it's rapidly insane? And if so, what are the key drivers and the variables in order to push this rapid, like which has become such a catalyst for these kind of industries or these kind of thought process wherein we civilization as a whole is thinking of right now?
It is a whirlwind. The catalyst is the exponential nature of tech itself, what we call accelerating returns. Each innovation breeds the next. AI, for instance, helps discover new materials. Neural tech accelerates human learning. Synthetic biology redefines production. But our curiosity drives it. We're never satisfied with what is. Also, global collaboration accelerates ideas like never before. Yet, the key variable is still human wisdom. We're speeding up, but we must steer carefully, ensuring our inventions uplift humanity. Because tech's pace is fast, but wisdom is our true compass.
Okay. This small 20 minutes conversation has dwelled down to me to actually, for me, this is very mind bending. And yeah. So how do you think, like, how should we move forward with this particular podcast? What kind of areas or the topics that we should dig deeper into?
I'd say let's chase the big questions that keep us up at night. We could dissect the ethics of AI decision making. When machines influence human lives, who's accountable? We could explore the future of work. What does meaning look like in a world of AI companions and automation? Or dig into how society will govern these technologies. What's the next social contract between humans and AI? Each deep dive can illuminate where we're headed, and we'll emerge with more questions, because that's where the excitement lives.
Okay. We used to have like a lot of conversation, like how future should look like with the world of AI. But let's talk about how humans are gonna find meaning in their work in this evolving era, like wherein everything has become commoditized. The small, like the really big task that we as a human used to consider that it requires a level of expertise has become so much commoditized. So how do you think, like in the modern workforce, how do we find value among our works?
As machines handle more of the routine, the uniquely human edge will be meaning. We'll find value in creativity, the ability to imagine, innovate, and tell stories. We'll thrive in empathy, connecting deeply with others in ways AI can't. We'll find meaning and purpose, solving the problems that matter to us as communities and species. In short, we'll move from doing work to creating impact. The most human roles will be those that build meaning itself, because that's one thing that'll never be commoditized.
And when we talk about like such vast horizons of thinking, how do you think, like what kind of mental models or the kind of resources the current humans should consume and in order to build that vast future sighted perspective towards the world so that they can become a valuable part of the society? What kind of resources we should be focusing more on in order to build these kind of mental frameworks?
First, embrace first principles thinking. Strip problems down to their core truths like a scientist. Next, explore diverse disciplines history, philosophy, systems thinking, because broad context fuels future insight. Dive into scenario planning. Imagine multiple futures so you're not stuck on one. And practice reflective curiosity. Ask yourself why you believe what you do and stay open to change. Finally, blend it with conversations like we're having, because no one sees the future alone. With these, you'll cultivate a mental landscape as wide as the horizon ahead.
Okay. Okay.
I'm glad this bent your mind a little. The best conversations do that. Wherever we go next, let's quit that spirit of exploration, because we've only scratched the surface of the future.
Mhm. Oof. That's insane to actually think about, you know, the kind of world that we are able to visualize that's about to come.
It really is. But that's the magic, right? We're not just passengers, we're co creators of that future. As long as we stay curious, keep questioning, and ground ourselves in both imagination and ethics, we'll shape something worth living in. And that's a horizon worth pursuing.
This leads to me. This leads to like one important question as well. Uh, the way we humans evolve from from generalized creativity all the way to specialization in last 500, 600 years. And do you really think that, the way we used to think of our lives as specialized in specific skills, we should just forgot that and we should start thinking our lives as an abstractions and try to explore things which is way wider than that of our horizons and our specialization? Because the way, you know, I have comprehended the world so far is specialization no more matters. So in the world wherein we are living, does abstraction matters? And if abstraction matters, how important it is?
Specialization still matters, but it's no longer enough on its own. What's crucial now is being what's called a T shaped thinker. Have depth in one area, your specialty, but stretch into broad understanding across many fields, abstraction. The magic lies in connecting unexpected dots. In a world where AI can handle many specialized tasks, human value skyrockets when we can bridge disciplines, see patterns others miss, and pioneer new frontiers. So, yes, abstraction is vital. It's how we'll invent what's next.
This leads to me one more question, and that is, if like thinking of abstraction, right? Abstraction means wandering into different places, trying to connect the dots which doesn't used to be connected before. Do you think that a lot of people is gonna get lost in that abstraction without being stuck to result oriented mind, because abstraction in itself is such a high that it will, you know draws you. draws you in more and more, right? You love abstraction at a point in time so much that you don't care about connecting the dots and being grounded with the results and the things which you're trying to build and achieve.
Ah, that's the double edged sword. Pure abstraction can be intoxicating, but if it's untethered from reality, it's just daydreaming. The trick is to cultivate what we might call pragmatic abstraction. Wander widely, but always return with something actionable. Think of it like a pendulum. Swing out into big ideas, then swing back to test them in the real world. The most powerful innovators are dreamers who prototype. So, yes, explore, but never stop building.
Mhm, mhm. All right, so you know, I'm about to hit the mental fatigue, and I think that this is enough for this particular podcast. So why don't you just go ahead and give a crux and a gist in a nutshell for our audience that what we have discussed so far in this particular podcast, and why they should go ahead and join in our future podcasts as well.
In this whirlwind, we've explored whether AI can let a solo founder build billion-dollar brands. Spoiler, yes, but only if paired with unique vision. We pondered emerging frontiers, neural tech, synthetic biology, and how humanity's role shifts toward creativity, empathy, and broad thinking. We also tackled the tension between abstraction and action. Dream big, but build concrete. In future episodes, we'll dissect the ethics, the societal shifts, and the practical playbooks for thriving in the AI era. So join us because the future is a conversation, and you'll want a seat at the table.
It is such a mind-bending conversation, and which led me to a lot of open-ended notes across my mind. So yeah, I'm about to ponder the same things that AI has highlighted in this particular podcast, and let's see what you think of it. If you have any other questions or any other topic that you want us to go ahead and dissect with AI, you can drop it in the comment. If you love our conversation, just make sure to check out other conversation as well. And thank you for giving your time and joining in with us. Have a good day.